welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. We're working on a bucket hat. This is a free pattern. The link will be listed below in the information for this video. And there we go. So I did a mock-up one, well, just to test the pattern, and I think it fits fantastic. And I've got an okay sized melon, you know, and of course you can make it a little bit bigger, possibly put straps in it, put a little tie in it, maybe make your brim a little bit shorter, make it a little bit longer. You know, the pattern is very, very adjustable, okay? And of course it's very nice and light and white, so I figured that'd be a good one. And it is doubled. So if you want, you can use two different fabrics and have it reversible. You know, the options are completely up to you. Of course, I just put this one, I just did it as just plain white. And this one here too is, this beautiful flower fabric was donated to the shop, so thank you very much for that. And I'm going to make myself a little hat for the garden in it. So I can't wait. So there is a few pieces to this, okay? So here is the crown, which is of course very top of the head, okay? And then there is the side of the bucket, which goes around the head like this. And then of course the brim, which helps give the shade, okay? And of course you need to, you'll have to match up these pieces as it says in the pattern, do a little printout. Because our printer is being very finicky, I just held my stabilizing fabric that I was using as a pattern up to my monitor, put it in the right screen where, because it gives you like a 2-inch depth to go by to make sure your printer is printing out correctly for sizes. And I just traced it out. So that's, you know, I can do that. I mean, my monitor's right there, so I might as well use it, and I can trace. So that's what I did. So you do need a little bit of stabilizer, which is I'm just using the same type of fabric, like I have the whole roll of this, as a stabilizer for the brim, to give it a little bit more. And of course, you can sew many lines going all the way around to stiffen it up a bit, or leave it nice and floppy. You can do some decorative things, do this as a colored band, put your kid's name on it, your family name. I don't know, if they're all a bunch of short little munchkins, put their initial on the top of the head so you can spot them from a distance. I don't know. I'm sure you can think of something to do to, you know, so everybody's in the clan and everybody's in together. So yeah, so I thought, you know what, I may even I have a lot more of this white material, and we have a family reunion coming up. I may make a whole bunch and then just give them out to the kids, that, you know, so nice light hat. So all right, so there's my stabilizer, okay? And of course you cut two, and then you need to cut two pieces each for the brim. This is one side of the brim, that's the other side of the brim, and then this is the other side of the brim. I've already sewed it together. And then we have the side bucket here, and then you need your inside and your outs, okay? So I have two crowns, have two side buckets, and two brims, okay? So that's how it's gonna go, all right? So for the first part, what we're gonna do here is on the crown, we're gonna take one of our buckets. I think I already had one sewn here already, okay? And we're gonna place it, so the narrow side, see how this goes, the narrow side up here and then the wider side. The narrow side is gonna be sewn to the top of the crown here, and then the wider side ends up being the brim, okay? It gets attached to the brim. So there is a half point on here, which I would just do this and get my little marker pen or highlighter or something like that to indicate where I needed to go with my pinnings. Okay, so there's a little tap there, and that's the middle there, and then I did the same thing again to find the middles here and here, and that just helped me work that brim around evenly between this side, or sorry, the bucket part to the top part, and the same with the brim. You end up, if you just kind of do a couple little marks on your halves and halves and halves, it helps line things up, okay? Of course, and then you want your right sides together, and I was using one of my seams to line up to one of my spots. It doesn't really matter which one, because this hat can be worn in many different ways, okay? So you got your little marker point there, and you just split the seam there and then do some pinning, okay? And you may need to add a few, and I always go from one side to the next, find my halfway point on this side, make sure I'm matching my seam up correctly so I know I've got at least like a north and a south pinned down. Where's my marker? There it is, okay? Just gotta find it. And then I'll go east and west, and then work the fabrics in between, okay? So now we'll take those two little seams and line them right up, and find another halfway point onto the part of the bucket, where the one that goes around here, the side part of the bucket hat. And then we have our other dot over here, and we pin. Okay, and then same on the other side. Match our two little seams up, find the halfway on here. There we go, and our little pink dot, or whatever dot you make. Just do it right on the edge, and then nobody will see it, because you're gonna double layer this up. So this is a great idea to make a two-tone hat, or a multicolored hat, or whatever. Okay, so you see we have that pinned, and then when we sew it, that's going to be part of our little hat. Okay, it's going to go right on like that. Okay, so we're going to put a few more pins in to make sure we're a-okay to go all the way around. Okay, and sometimes you may have to just kind of like wiggle your fabric, maybe stretch it just a little bit to make sure you're getting all the way. Okay, I did find it was easier to take this part off to get sometimes in the neck of the machine. Okay, so I wasn't fighting with anything. And then just nice straight stitch, and slow and steady wins the race. There's no lead foot Larry going on here, so. And you can clip. If you're finding it hard, or you don't want to, you can always do a few little clips all the way around on the inside of the bucket side here, the bucket side, to accommodate it to the crown. Okay. But I didn't find too much of a hard time on the first one. And as long as I seem to be getting equal portions of fabric from one pin section to the other pin section, I think we'll be okay. But, if you find that maybe your bucket band is a little bit too wide for your crown, then maybe just take the seams in just a little bit more. Like instead of a quarter inch, a quarter of an inch, you go half an inch or something like that, and that would help accommodate for a little bit. But you're going to have to tweak it to fit your cap, or your munchkins, or your loved one, or whatever. This could be a side business for you at the, baseball diamond or the soccer park. Sell hats for $5. People who forgot. Especially if you have like a surplus of fabric. And even like a thicker fabric, like a denim, or like a corduroy, or I'm not sure you really want to make it a corduroy. It might be a little bit too heavy, but like maybe just, a nice thicker but non-fray drapery fabric. You just need to make one layer, I would think, and that's it, right? And especially if you had a serger, or had a foot that does a nice clean edge all the way around, or even you just use your zigzag, you can clean that up and just do one layer. Okay, you don't have to do the double layer. Of course, you can do it with just a single layer of fabric, but it'd be really flimsy. I mean, but if that's what you want. If you want something, a hat to go under another hat sort of thing, just to add a little bit of barrier, like we were doing the little biker caps, and like surgeon caps and stuff like that, and welder's caps a couple of weekends ago as a Father's Day gift. You could, do something like that too. All right, this seems to be okay just by easing the fabric in and going slow all the way around. I don't seem to have any extra on this bucket side to the hat. So we have, of course, we need to make two of these, one for the inside, one for the outside. Of course, I chose the same fabrics. But of course, I think something multicolored would be just amazing. Okay, so we went all the way around, and we didn't need to take a little pleat in or anything like that. So it should look pretty good. Go to turn it this way here. Okay, there we go. And then we have a little space to add on our brim. So very good. All right. Okay, so now we need to do another one just like that. Let's move that off to this. Here, actually, just put this behind me, or under. Here, we'll go under. Completely out of the way. We need to do the other side, so the inside and the outside. Okay, and I was just doing a generous 1/4 inch seam allowance, but if you needed to adjust it, this would be one of the spaces too, right here. It's on these two seams. Okay, so the pattern is free. I do believe they have quite a few hats out there, and some other stuff-free patterns on the website, so, check her out. I love finding new free stuff. Okay, so again, finding the halves. Those are some crucial points. And then I just find it makes so much easier to line up. So there's my little mark there, little mark there. Fold this again like it was like a little pizza pie. Make it a 1/4. okay? And then just do these two on this side, just a little dot, that's all it needs. You know, and then I could do the same here, match this up now so I didn't have to do it later. Put my little dot here on the side and match those two seams up in the center here and there. And of course I know those two are my other ones, so I don't really need to mark them. Okay. And with our beautiful right sides together, we will just pin this one again, okay? I know it's just doing this exactly what it is, but it is essential to making this hat if you want it reversible. So just hope it's not taking up too much of your precious weekend time here by doing this twice, but so you can understand how it goes. Okay, and pin that there, and then again with the half and the half. I just find it so much easier to line stuff up. All right, where's your pink? There we go. It's like, where'd the pink dot go? All right, and this one's disappeared. Where did it go? Guess I didn't press hard enough. Okay, line that back up. Okay. It's either that or I just, you know, just did the little tiny 2 threads and still can't see it. It's okay. We are officially out of school here in Ontario, Canada, so it's been very, very exciting. I got some chocolate-covered pretzels and some gummies and some flowers and some thank you cards, and you know, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's nice to know that you are appreciated in your community. So, and it's not just by the kids; it's by the parents too. So, yeah, it's very nice. Very nice to know. All right, so now just putter on down between the one pin to the next and hoping to align and just angle the fabric around that curve the best you can. You may have tweak it a little bit, tug it a little bit, you know. That's what has to happen with curves. Little gentle persuasion. Okay, and lifting the foot, shifting the fabric. You know, if you need to put more pins in, then go ahead. Put as many pins as you need. Okay. Happy Canada Day long weekend to all of my fellow Canadians. And happy early Independence Day for some of my fellow American friends. Just south of the border. Hope you're having a great weekend. We are in the smoking hot temperatures of like between, well, it's 40s and early, like 42 and 43 and 39 for us, which is what 100 to 108 for you guys. So yeah, I'm crashing any pool I can find this weekend. Just work away. Looks like I'm okay again on this one for having enough of equal fabric to go all the way around to make that attaching the crown to the side bucket, okay? So it's this to this is what we just did twice, one for the inside and one for the outside, okay? There we go. Okay, fantastic. Okay, now to make some progress here, we have our brim, okay? And we know our brim, we need to stabilize with a little bit of stabilizing fabric or interfacing or something. If you just have an extra bit, a layer of fabric, like another layer of white or whatever like that, go ahead and pop that in there. It just helps to give a little bit of stability to the brim itself, okay? I like the fact that it's so collapsible. You know, you could literally shove this wrinkle this up and shove it in the tiniest pocket, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it really helps save you from getting sunstroke, you know, or getting a headache, or keeping the bugs out of your hair, or whatever, you know, just keeping the sun off of you. All right, so now I've done both sides, and I was just lining them up seam to seam because this is going to get squished in the middle, so it doesn't really matter. So what I did was I just kind of pinned on one side, like just pinned here and then went around to the other side and pinned, and then did the half and half like I was doing with the marking for getting the proper placement around the crown. Okay, and then here, just grab a few more. I figure sometimes hats are expensive. I've been quite a hat collector in my many years, and because we've traveled quite a bit, and I've probably spent quite a few dollars on some hats, and you know, all I really wanted them to do was take the sun off me, so I can make some. Yeah. I can figure that out. All right, okay, now that those two are together, we need to make sure this and this is here. So this finished together, because that's the other side of the brim, because we need a top side and a bottom side. That's why this makes a great reversible. You know, you got a munchkin who loves purple and blue, then do one side purple and one side blue. And they, whatever they feel like that day of being colorful, then they can go for it. And these are so easy, I probably will end up making a few for the family reunion. Okay, so now what I want to do is, again, line this up with the seams together, because you kind of want all the seams together. And I know my right sides are together here, and I'm going to sew along this edge right here, okay, all the way around, nice and even-ish as much as I can get it. You know, nothing's perfect, but we can all we can do is try hard. Okay. So taking some of these pins, just shifting it so it's onto all three of those fabrics I'm pinning together, okay, because I don't really want them to shift. I want the stabilizing fabric to stay where it is, and the two edges to be nice and equal all the way around, because it's going to give me a nice round brim to my hat, because this is going to be the outside here, okay. So just take the time to pin it down, lining up your edges. Okay. And you can do anywhere between 1/4 and 1/2, you know, somewhere in there, wherever you're comfortable. A lot of us quilters are so used to doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance that sometimes it's hard for us to do a 1/2. So, you know, whatever it is you're comfortable with, I've got my 1/4 inch foot on here. I'm riding it so I see a little bit of the fabric peeking out. That to me is, I know it's going to be well stitched all the way around. So when I turn it right side out, hopefully I got all my seams and all my fabric all together. So I'm just going to go all the way around. Try and keep it nice. And this is a great way if you just have white fabric, or you just want to recycle an old sheet, make a few hats for the family, go for it. Put on a decorative colored thread, pick up one of your fancy stitches, do all the way around the brim. You could do something around here, you can do something around the top, you could do, you know, even to personalize it in many, many different ways, you know. Have the kids paint them. Like, they could paint their own hat or color their own hat with washable markers. You know, so every day they get into different hats. I mean, there's so many ideas out there. You know, just think about it, and you'll come up with probably a few hundred yourself. I'm like one of those people, if you go for a big gathering or you're meeting like a big bunch of people at like a, you know, roller coaster place, or, you know, that sort of fun entertainment, everybody's got to wear the same shirt. So I know that's in my family. Follow that pink shirt, or, you know. I like that. So I think a bunch of all of us the same kind of hats would be very interesting too. That way, easy to spot. Okay, now you can trim this if you need to. If you found maybe you weren't as even on a few places, I didn't really trim that one at all. I just turned it so it was the right side out, like this. Okay. And of course, you want to make sure you're squishing, you're kind of wibbling and wobbling those two seams, or the two fabrics at the seam, to make them nice and flat. You don't want one twisting one way and one twisting the other. You kind of want them so those little seams are right next to each other, okay? And of course, you can press this out. I didn't turn the iron on. I was just finger pressing this. Okay. And I found at least doing a couple This is where you can do many times around and around and around, space it out with the space of your foot, or do whatever. So we'll just do one around on this one, and I can always add more afterwards, So we'll just twist it, making sure that it's nice and flat, and I'm riding the foot of my machine along the edge of the fabric as it's going around. That gives me a nice consistent stitch length. We want to do the best we can. Even when I showed Pop, I said, "Hey, what do you think of this hat?" And he goes, "Oh, I like it." And I go, "Oh, it's the weekend project." He goes, "You made it?" See, that was the best compliment. He goes, "I thought you bought it." I went, "No, I made it." So there you go. And that was just that one. Take a little extra time and a little extra consideration when you're building. I think one of this in rainbow threads, like white with rainbow threads, would be fantastic. Or variegated thread with some sort of stitch pattern on it or something. A great project to do for the with the kids. Get them to decorate a whole big piece of fabric, and you cut it out. You cut it out, and then you make the hat out of whatever it is they decorated, right? So there's so many. I'm thinking more and more as I'm just sitting here stitching. Okay, so there is all the way once around, okay? And like I said, you can keep going and put the space of the foot, find something on your machine, and you're just riding the curve of it all the way as it's stitching, or mark it out, whatever you like to do. Okay, so now we get to go to this part, which is we lining up our stitches, our side seams with our side seams here. Okay, and of course we're going to put right sides together, and we're going to pin and mark the halves. That's the important part, is getting the halves and making sure it's all together where it needs to be. Okay. And if you didn't want to put another layer on the inside of the cap, like for the brim and the top of the crown part, you don't have to, but I do suggest at least 2 layers for the brim to give it at least a little bit of, so it's not flopping in the face just straight down. It has a little bit of play. You can, make it like I said, the bucket hat or a sailor hat or whatever, because it can go a couple of different ways. So. All right, so there's the half. Sorry, I just matching the seams up there, finding the halfway point, and of course, I should have. Oh, I don't have a mark on that side, right? That's right. All right, so we'll find the halfway again, lining up some seams. Okay, there we go. Come here. Don't fight with me. And the other side is really quite easy to add on, this side here, because then you kind of fold the edge under just a smidgy and stitch all the way around. You're just tucking in that raw edge, just under the cap. Okay, there we go, found our halves. So much easier if you mark this out ahead of time, so just so you knows. All right, so there's that and that. And we've got our 4 little pins all the way around. Put more in if you like, because you got a bit wider to deal with. I think I'm going to put 1 in every middle section to help guide me equally fabric-wise on the curve from pin to pin. Okay, just because it is a little bit bigger. We've got a little bit more area to deal with. So I'm going to put in a few more stabilizing pins. Okay. Ow. Don't do that, it hurts. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, no bleeding. No bleeding on the project. Okay, see there. If you wanted it, just like I say, just in that, just sew it all the way around and you're done. Oh, I'm going to love this hat. Oh, I'm going to love wearing this hat. Do. All right. I'm going to start at a seam and end at a seam. I find that is easier to make things look a little bit more professional if you're beginning and ending on seams. Okay. And then just work your way around. Like I said, I'm giving a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. I'm kind of getting the fabric to hang off my high performance foot here, which that is a 1/4 inch foot. So it's a little bit more than that, but that's okay. When you're working with clothing and stuff like that, and hats and bags, sometimes it's more of a 1/2 to 5/8 of seam allowance. So, and that's always something to know as well when you're working from project to project, because you'll make sure you're reading patterns and they say 1/4 inch, 5/8, 1/2, whatever. It could really deter a project that you think you're stitching the way you need to be. Oops, my pin's upside down on this one. He's hiding in there. Pink little birdie. That's probably what has gone wrong, is you started with the wrong seam allowance. Not saying, just could be, just think about it. All right, puttering away. And then we only got one more seam after this. We just got to attach the other buckety part. Okay. Just making sure, I'm trying to ease the fabric as much as I can. Try not to have any puckers or tucks or anything. If you happen to get 1 or 2, I really wouldn't worry about it. Seriously. But great way to reuse, favorite, top sheet or something like that, or even pillowcases into something the kids would want to wear. So, or even yourself. There we go. So if we didn't put the inside on, there's my hat. Okay. And then, like I say, you can turn it up, make it like a little sailor cap, sailing the high seas. All right, so what you want to do with this one is make sure the wrong sides are together. You're going to put it in just like this, and then at your seams, fold it under. I'm going to split this so it's a split seam there. You can always press this, if you need to. Turn it under about 1/4 and match it up, okay? And it's going to take some pinning and some trickiness to get it to go all the way around, but you can do it, and then you just do a nice little seam all the way, attaching it all together. So I was finding it easier to go sideways pinning, okay? And again, I'm gonna go over to this side here. I'm gonna split that seam, fold it under just about 1/4, and match it up with that stitch seam right there, and then pin, and then ease everybody else in between, okay? But making sure I'm getting the fabric underneath and that fabric all the way around, okay? And then here this goes to come into the 1/2 and the 1/2. It's very easy. Is once you get those 4 little points, you're pretty much good to go. Turn this under 1/4. Line it up to the edge. Okay. And then keep pinning. We'll just bring some more pins over here, okay? And of course, you kind of want to make sure it's lined up on the other side too. And you pick the side that you like, put your decorative threads on, whatever. You could use some, you've got like some skeins of floss left over from something. You can always embroider a little flower, or like the initial, or something. Even just a little critter. Okay, now lining that up, tucking that. It's tucked under about 1/4 inch. Okay, and once you put it in those 4 little spots, it's pretty much easier to line up everybody else as you're going. Okay, but you do want to pin it all, because you are tucking under, right? You are tucking under that little bit of an edge. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure it's in the 1/2 as much as I can. And this may be something that you can whip stitch. As a project in the car. You can always just close this up by hand all the way around. Okay. It's actually kind of funny that some of these flowers are matching up with other flowers from the from the side to the brim. It's kind of fun. It's like the flowers are matching. Okay, there we go. Ow, just keep tucking. Tucking under. Ooh. Okay. There. I think we're 1 or 2 pins over here, and then we're good to go. Okay, and then that one little seam to go all the way around to attach this little edge that we have just folded over. And I'm trying to line it up with the stitches that I sewed the brim on. So I'm hiding those stitches as well and trying to get myself in a straight line. So I'm following that instead of going up and down and curve. So this is looking more like an outback hat. I like it. Out in the backyard. Okay, now, again, I find it easier to have the short neck of the machine on. It's like taking the tray out. Okay, and again, starting at a seam. We just want to be very careful because this is going to be thick, right? You got like 2 layers of fabric here, also where the seam is, and like 3 layers of fabric here, also where the seams are. So slow and steady wins the race, okay? So I said this is no Leadfoot Larry race. Okay, now tuck that little raw edge under. Kind of move the fabric so it's shifted in between the two. Take the pin out, and I'm just trying to follow the stitches that I put for when I attach the other brim. Okay. Here, ease up, hold that there. I have to kind of shove the fabric under a little bit and ease it as you're going. Okay, almost halfway there. Okay. Pick this up. I'm trying to keep my seam still the same, but we have a little bit of extra fabric on this side, but I'm just trying to ease it under the foot and put like a tiny little tuck, but not really. It's more like just kind of stretching it out a bit. And then here, again, that's another seam. That one, be careful, yeah. Hopefully I'm keeping everything straight on the inside here too. If not, I know where the seam ripper is. And I can do it again. There we go. It should feel nice and straight. You can kind of feel the little, you know, edges of fabric. You know, great way to personalize something for somebody, personalized gift. And there was many different sizes. I just did the largest size, and it fits my melon. So if you need to do a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, maybe add a little bit more of a seam allowance, adjust the pattern, you know, make one and then see how it goes for your family members and go from there. There we go, all the way around. There. Isn't that awesome? Nice reversible hat. Stitched all the way. Beautiful. Either way you want to wear it. Okay. And it's nice and long that it you know, covers the back of your neck too. When you're wearing t-shirts and stuff, you get that little back of the neck covered, the side of the neck covered, your ear covered. You know, you can always flip it up on the little munchkins so they can see as they're playing or whatever, or make it a little bit shorter. You can always do a tack stitch, buttons, you know, you can always put little snaps on the sides, or, you know, there's many ways, you know. And if you were really creative, all you would have to do is put a zipper on the inside of one of these hats, on the inside here or even on the outside here, and be able to, you know, stick even just ID in there, or if you're just going down to the beach or something like that, you don't want to, you know, put your car key. You know, think about it. I'm sure you can make it. So, all right. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody. We will see you, well, tomorrow you get your bonus video, so look for that. We will see you later, okay? Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.